Kyoshi isn't just tall, her buttons are big, and she's not a slow character at all. She has incredible damage with very simple combos and is a great character to teach you how to manage your flow. And that's because every non-EX special from her uses flow, but she can also regenerate it by holding down the flow button. On top of it, she passively regenerates a ton of it if she has 7 energy. Today I want to give you some tips on Kyoshi's neutral, Oki, and mix-up, defense, what's the best support for you, and give you some basic to intermediate combos. My name's Globku, and this video is all about making Avatar Legends easier for you to play. Let's start with neutral. When I started off playing Kyoshi, forward flow was my best friend. It doesn't only skywalk. If an attack button is pressed quickly after you leave the ground, it works as a good forward moving short hop. With Kyoshi's huge buttons, this actually covers a lot of ground and is a great way of getting in on your opponent. Instead of approaching, Kyoshi can also bring the opponent to her by holding back C. On hit or block, you cancel this into your forward flow for a combo or extended pressure. Get comfortable with this button's range because it is really good, and if you catch an opponent pressing buttons, it also lands a counter hit, leading to an even bigger combo. Careful with the wind though. Holding back C creates wind that goes towards Kyoshi. If she misses the opponent, it can actually make it hard for you to approach. And that's because her forward flow now does not move as much. You're being affected by the wind and it is keeping you in that corner. It's also worth thinking about who your opponent is. If you invite a rushdown character in, that's not always going to be a good thing. Do not underestimate the power of crouching B, because this is a low with really good range. Even though you can't get any big combos from max range, it can still deal good damage. Needless to say, it is a low attack, so it won't catch jumping opponents. But if you're playing footsies on the ground, this button outranges most options. Kyoshi's quarter circle forward series is something of a Rekka. First she summons these rocks, and then she has a follow-up depending on the button you press. Most of these are used for combos, I would say, except for the C follow-up. This is the silliest button that Kyoshi has in neutral. This button has armor, so it cannot be interrupted. If you hit the opponent, it will always bounce them off a wall. If the opponent is pressing a button, you'll land a critical, getting an even bigger wall bounce. It is absolutely ridiculous. If this move did not spend so much of her focus bar, it is definitely something you would want to be spamming in neutral. And you know what? Even with that cost, it probably still is. If even with all of this, your opponent is too passive and just likes to sit from full screen, remember, you can hold focus to restore your own focus bar, or just sit idle, doing absolutely nothing for Kyoshi to start healing. Though honestly, I wouldn't expect most opponents to let you do that. Kyoshi lacks any fast low attacks, so she's not really a threat when it comes to high-low mix-up, making her more of a left-right character. Using her flow options, forward flow and jumping flow, she can hit the opponent right from above with jumping down A. This button gives you a very ambiguous overhead, and sometimes even you won't know if it hit left or right. Jumping up flow can also help with her positioning and delaying overheads, though because she doesn't have a big threat with a low attack, this is less for mix-up and more for positioning. On block, her quarter circle back series gives you really easy cross-ups. If you can confirm the opponent is blocking, the A and B options will hit on the same side, but quarter circle back C will be hitting as a cross-up. Finally, if Kyoshi has 4 energy, her super is a command grab. You cannot combo into her super at all, its use is purely for mix. Though keep in mind, if Kyoshi reaches 7 energy, she will be generating flow like a maniac, and sometimes that is better than getting a random mix-up on your opponent. Though, that is also what your opponent might be expecting, so use that to your advantage. In defense, backflow and forward C are both options that can deflect attacks, with backflow being the retreating option and forward C being the advancing option. Both of these buttons, though, lose to low attacks, but forward C has a follow-up that is a critical after absorbing an attack. This move is very unsafe on block though, but because it is a command normal, you can always cancel it into specials. Another armored option you have is both down C or down flow into C. Down flow will low profile, so the follow-up can be a good punishing attempt. Both of these are very close range options though, the opponent must be on top of Kyoshi. Whiffing this in neutral is usually a bad idea. And once again, the C follow-up to the quarter circle forward series is also armored, and thanks to its range, you can play some preemptive defense as your opponent is trying to approach. In an emergency, quarter circle forward EX is a frame 1 full screen armored move, something you definitely want to use to get the opponent away from you. Let's take a look at her supports. Which one of these is going to be the best one for you? Rangi, Kelsang, or Yoon? If you're a complete beginner, I would recommend Rangi. She enhances the Quadricycle Forward series follow-ups. With the A follow-up leaving a fire puddle on the ground, you're going to finish a lot of combos with this, and this immediately makes your opponent question where they should stand because you are controlling a bit of the stage. The B follow-up deals more damage, and the C follow-up is going to give you a better wall bounce, which again is perfect for beginners for confirming those combos. Kelsang is all about positioning and mix-up. Just by having the support, Kyoshi can now double jump, which gives her a lot more stage control. Her jumping flow can be directed, she's not stuck running in a straight line, she can dodge up or down. And her forward C option, the one that can deflect attacks, doesn't need to be cancelled into the C follow-up, she can also cancel it into back flow or forward flow. The biggest thing, however, is that her jumping attacks can be cancelled into her flow options, and this not only gives her incredible mix-up, it also gives her new combo routes, though these are a bit more advanced for sure. And finally, Yoon enhances the Quadricycle Back series, making him more of a mix-up support, but also giving him extra conversions where the other supports cannot pick up combos anymore. All moves in the Quadricycle Back series can now be steered left and right. You can also feint the Quadricycle Back series by hitting flow mid-move, and the EX version has extra hit stun, so for instance, after a grab, you can throw the EX move, pick them up off the ground, and go for a bigger combo that the other supports cannot give you. But let's finally talk combos. When you pick up Kyoshi for the very first time, this is the combo I would recommend going for. You can also finish this with Tornado if you prefer getting a little bit more damage. Personally though, I think the value of the puddle is even better, and if you have 7 energy, you can confirm this into ultimate, something you cannot do with a Tornado follow-up. Once you get used to that combo, you can evolve into this one, which has a pretty tight link to pick up the opponent, but that's just something you need to get used to if you plan on maining Kyoshi. If you catch someone for max range with your crouching B, this is pretty much all you can go for. In the corner, she really starts shining. This is basically an infinite combo, though in this game there are no true infinites. At some point your opponent can just flow escape, so usually after 3 reps, I decide to just finish it. By staying on the ground without attacking or without being hit, you'll see that Kyoshi's fans will start glowing, and this means a new critical hit has been activated for her. And it's very easy to activate because it might even load up as you are simply blocking your opponent's pressure. If you hit the opponent with a glowing fans, you'll see this big wall splat. So after you load up the critical, try not to jump because the fans will stop glowing if you leave the ground. But the combo I usually go for is something like this. And once again, don't forget, if you grab your opponent, doesn't mean the combo is over. Kyoshi can pick the combo back up with a Quadricycle Forward Tornado series, but also with a Quadricycle Back. And especially if you picked up the Yoon support, you can get some big follow-ups after this. And that is Kyoshi in Avatar Legends. I hope this guide has helped you get started with the character, and for more Avatar Legends guides, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you very much for watching. My name is Globku, and I'll see you next time. Bye!